So here was my issue. When I was younger, I wanted to live the dream life, but whose dream life did I want to live? My name is Valeria Orsini at Valeria_Orsini on Instagram, and I'll be sharing my own experiences and speaking with others that live a life of excellence about what it actually takes to build your own dream life. My goal is to help you find the confidence to create your own dream life. Dreams are not cookie cutter, neither are you. Welcome to the Dream Life Podcast. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dream Life Podcast. On today's episode, I have one of my really good friends here in Los Angeles. We met over 5 years ago. She's an incredible human being.
Years. That's crazy.
Is it more than 5 years?
That's a long time. It's been a long time. I forgot.
You guys know exactly who she is.
Forgot.
She's always been on my podcast. It's Liane V. She's
an
actress, singer, comedian. I've seen you direct. I've seen you teach people how to film. You're a woman that wears many hats. But way before all of that, I know that you had to leave everything you loved to make it here in LA. You had many struggles coming to management and people's trying to steal from you and all kinds of things. And I know a lot of the people watching and people, even as your friends, sometimes we look at your life and we're like, you're so amazing, you're so hardworking, and you have everything that someone could dream for. But me firsthand, I've seen the struggle and how you take loss in such a stride, and you're amazing. So that's really why I wanted to have you on the show. You're beautiful, you're talented, but you have one hell of a story too. So let's start off with that. Where did your story start? Where are you originally from? Your family?
Yes.
Tell me.
So I am originally from Northern California. I was born in San Jose, and then I moved to a small city called Modesto in California. Modesto, California. So shout out to all my Modesto people out there. But I'm from there. I grew up there, and then after high school, I'm like, I think I want to move to LA.
What were you like in high school?
So what got me into the whole entertainment industry, just wanting to move to LA and start that whole career, was my parents. First off, well, my mom's a nurse. She works really hard.
And a great cook.
Amazing cook. So if you guys ever come over, she'll cook for you.
Sure.
And my dad has always had a heart for the industry and like performing. So he had a DJ company. He also owned a nurse registry, but he had a DJ company, and we would perform. Shout out to Papa V and Mama V.
Yeah.
And so Papa V owned a DJ company, and we would perform at weddings, parties, family events. Like he would just DJ.
Singing already?
Yes.
Stop it.
So I was singing. There was karaoke, and also my uncle, he did a lot of music too. He was in a group. So I was always around music. Music was very therapeutic to me. I built friendships with music, dancing, from talent shows to recitals. I was in band and choir for 2 years. So music was always such a big part of my life, and my dad was definitely an inspiration. Hi, Penny.
Yeah, she's like, she woke up.
Music has definitely been a big part of my life, and it's definitely inspired me to move to LA. So I think that music was the first passion.
You knew that you had to move to LA to make your dreams happen?
Yeah, nothing was happening in Modesto. So I had to move to LA because I knew that that's what I envisioned. Like, oh, that's where the stars are, and like everyone goes to become successful in that field.
And your dad was encouraging, right?
Yes,
he was have a
super supportive.
A dialogue between you?
Well, we would visit LA. It's only like a 5-hour drive from Modesto, so we would come here and go to Disneyland and visit like downtown LA. They had the shops there, and also just visiting Hollywood.
When did you guys move? Because I know that you still have family over there.
Yeah.
Or you guys moved over here? What
2006, age? I moved here, and so it's been about 13 years now. So I've been out here for a while.
And that's so cool. So when you were growing up, you took like singing classes, you took dance classes, because this girl, she doesn't stop. She's still, you're dancing like every day. She's doing choreography. She just shot her new music video that's coming out. But I guess that's where your base level of like hard work is so high, because you've kind of been working hard since you were little then.
I mean, when you move to LA, you're inspired. You know, there's a lot of things that you have to learn quick out here, because it's just such a different world from Modesto. It was a small city, but out here there's so many things going on. There's so many opportunities, and you want to make sure you take the right ones, and you want to be smart at the same time and actually build the right relationships and not just be friends with anybody. I mean, it's good to be friends and make friends, but you have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because you can easily get distracted.
Yes.
And, you know, you just want to be careful and protect your circle of, you know, people that you have in your life. And so moving to LA, I started off, like you said, with acting classes, with dance classes, with vocal coaching, just really trying to make sure I educate myself in all these areas so that I knew what I was doing. Even though I was still learning, I feel like I'm still learning till this day.
Right.
But you have to, you know, exercise your craft. And so
Which I think you do a good job of. You're constantly surrounding yourself with people that are in the same space as you, but they're really good at what they do. So I know you work with choreographers and you still take singing classes, you still work on your craft. And I think that that's actually a good lesson for all of us, because a lot of people, you think that maybe you arrive somewhere, but the only way to continue being successful is to continue your learning.
Right.
So the way that the world has continued to change, or even like the same way the dance has changed, the trends change.
Right.
You have to be willing to learn and willing to adapt to actually become the best version of yourself.
Yes.
And it also takes a humble attitude, which I think you're super humble. You know, like you have a super humble attitude. I'll hear people like she'll ask questions. She asks people how to do things without an ego. And even when people tell you, no, it's not like that, you're like, you have no ego. You're like, okay, you're just trying to learn.
I mean, I feel like you have to be that way, because I've always believed that blessings come from God. And, you know, I feel that if you abuse it as quick as it comes, it could be just as fast to go. Absolutely. So I want to appreciate and be kind to everybody, just because you never know who is going to be in your life. You never want to disrespect or hurt anyone. You want to be good to everybody, because the circle is so small in Hollywood. I feel like you meet someone and say you have a problem with this person later on, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so's brother, or so-and-so, the person that I was going to get introduced to get into this. Like, so you just have to respect everyone.
You always thought that way? Because I know that you're naturally very sweet. I was like, but coming into this beast that it's LA, and you know, you kind of have to protect yourself, but at the same time be nice. How did you run into some lessons that taught you these kinds of things?
I did. So one thing I've learned, like I was very, like you said, I was too nice, and I was trusting, just because, you know, when you're from a small town, you're just used to being like the small town girl. When you're in LA, people are hungry for success, and they'll do anything to, you know, get something out of something for them to benefit themselves. So like, I learned that really quick, and that was something I had to figure out and like understand, okay, now I know how people are out here. Now I know how to move. And you just have to be careful who you share your business to, because there are things that I've had like ideas and, you know, projects that I wanted to do, and I find out, oh my gosh, this person totally just took my idea. So make sure you really protect yourself from sharing your information, sharing your ideas.
And you can still be nice.
You can still be nice. Be nice. That's what we're supposed to do. You have to be kind to people, but you just have to be smart. You know who you allow yourself to open up to.
That's great advice, especially for people that are moving to a new city, even somebody thinking, wanting to move to LA. Because coming out here, I think that a lot of people see like Hollywood or the shining lights, and then, you know, the real Hollywood street, but it's like full of kind of unfortunate stories. It's not at all what you think it is on TV. And it's a lot harder than what it looks like out here. And so what are some of the other struggles that you feel like you've run into that you could warn like a girl that really looks up to you?
The struggles, I feel like for me, first was making sure that I was true to myself through this journey, because you're going to meet people, you're going to go through these things, and people are going to try to manipulate or give you advice to say, you need to be like this, you need to be like that. Make sure you know who you are and you stay true to yourself, and also not care what people think. And it's hard to say that. It's easier said than done, because it's like, oh, don't care what people think, but then you still feel like you care. I care to a certain extent, but not to where it disturbs my peace, because your peace is the most important thing. And it being in the social media world, there's a lot of people in your comments that are going to say the meanest things, or just say disrespectful things. Even in person, you just have to learn to brush it off, and it's not worth the energy and time.
How do you do it? Let's say someone says something really, because sometimes it's easy, like it's almost to call you ugly. Like then it's like it's almost laughable.
I'm like, well, you know what?
Yeah, it's not.
Your opinion isn't paying my bills, so therefore it doesn't matter.
But what about if someone wants to say something to you that does hurt? How do you deal with that? You just...
You know, for me, when I do see something that bothers me or it hurts me, I have to remind myself, like, you know what? That person's probably hurt. And a lot of people
That's right.
that say hurtful things are the people
The
that are
people.
hurting,
Mm-hmm.
and they say hurtful things to make themselves feel better
That is
about themselves.
100% true.
So I'm just like, okay, I understand this person.
It's
And
not a well person. It's not
sometimes
somebody that's happy.
sometimes certain things that people may say can be true. Like, that outfit was too much, and maybe it makes you question, maybe the outfit was too much. But you know what? It's fine. You
Right.
learn a lot about yourself. You have to accept constructive criticism to learn and grow. So I'm not saying I was always perfect and I was always right. I feel like there are things that I've seen and heard that people may say of me that, oh, okay, well, I just have to make sure if they thought I was, stuck up, or some people
Right.
say, oh, I thought she was stuck up, but I got to know her, but maybe I need to be a little bit more approachable. Maybe
Right.
my resting bitch face.
But you know what though? I agree with you, because I think that to most part, when people say things that are negative towards me, if it has truth to it, I'll look at it and say, you know what, they're kind of right. But I don't allow that to really
control
to hurt me in a way that, like, I can't bounce back from this. But at the same time, instead of, it's like collecting data. I'm collecting all the data from everybody, and I'm like, it was a hit or it was a miss, it did well. And at the end of the day, it's almost like listening to your customers, because they're giving you feedback, even if they are wrong or whatever. But, and again, if someone is leaving you negativity or hate, exactly what you said, hurt people, and you have to know what's true about you, and your value is not based on your looks or based on what you have in the bank, because those things come and go. It has to be on way more secure things. And if anything, like, give love, even if you don't feel that way. When you give love, you feel love. So a lot of times people are looking for, it's so funny, because I was also listening to this this podcast, and it was talking about narcissism, and it really stems from people not being able or not getting that attention when they're young. So they try to make everybody like talk about them, but it creates the opposite effect. So we all have different issues that stem from our childhood. And again, to your point, to just be nice and being kind, you never know what people are going through. And but let's say another question. Let's actually switch topics. That I think let's talk about you and Don in this engagement.
Oh my goodness. It's been
So,
exciting.
did you know? Actually, I know, but did you know?
I had no idea. First off, he did it perfectly because I was so consumed in my birthday. Like, every year I love throwing something or traveling somewhere, and when I'm planning anything, all my focus goes straight to that. So I had no idea what he was doing when he wasn't with me. I didn't know what he was planning, like, outside of what I was doing. I just wasn't expecting anything. So when he did it, I was just like, whoa.
So for those of you who don't know, Don is her partner. Don is they're a huge power couple. He was a big top model. He still is. And
From
them
America's
together,
Next Top Model.
I was like, from America's Next Top Model. But them together, they're just like, everybody wants to see their babies. But everybody has seen, you guys have been together for maybe like 5 years.
It's gonna be 5 years,
yeah.
And we were friends for 3 years before that.
Right. And people also, they see your life and they're like, oh my gosh, she's so lucky. But I know firsthand that you've had struggles in your past. And how was it for you to find the right guy? For some of the young girls that are listening, what are some of the things that you think that is worth being in a relationship with somebody? And what are the things you shouldn't put up with? Some relationship advice for these girls.
Well, when I moved to LA, I'm such a relationship person. So I feel like I've always wanted commitment. I love consistency. So I was dating, because I wanted to be with somebody. And I think you have to make sure you know and love yourself and are okay with who you are and be happy as a whole person, because that person, you shouldn't be with someone because they make you happy. Because if they leave and anything happens, then you're stuck. So you want to make sure that you're whole and happy by yourself. And honestly, when you meet someone and they see that, they fall in love with that even more, just because that's who you are. You're happy by yourself, so that means you'll be good with or without that person. But of course, that person is only supposed to add value to your life. So I think dating in LA is very hard, only because, the industry, everything's so accessible. Like Instagram nowadays, you can literally DM anybody, and people.
There's beautiful people everywhere in Los Angeles. I have friends that when they come to Miami, they don't know how to act because they live in a town or they live somewhere else, and they don't. But again, it's the exterior, and all of us are gonna get older, and at the same time, it's like you can get bored of caviar
Right.
and lobster if you eat
Right.
it every day.
Right.
So it's like anything will get old.
I think at the end of the day, just make sure your happiness is number one, because I feel like some people do things for the wrong reasons,
right.
you know, or even date because they want to succeed in the
Yeah.
career, or date because of money. Like, I understand there's going to be, you know, tests and trials along the way, and just make sure, again, stay true to yourself, know your worth, never settle for someone that's going to disrespect you. You're worth it.
Amen.
Period. Like,
yes.
Because you can forget and start questioning your own self. But like, I'm very thankful that my parents, they're gonna be 40 years of marriage,
You're
and
so cute.
they're like the prime example of what a relationship and what love should look like.
Right.
So I'm very grateful that that was, you know, what I grew up in the household with, you know, parents that love each other and still till this day, like, show what love truly is. So now I know, like, okay, I can't settle for anything less.
Well, I think that your parents have done such a great job with teaching you your like work ethic, not just in your house or with your craft, but also in your relationship. Because I know that they've taught you a lot. And at the same time, I can imagine being 5 years in Los Angeles. Your boyfriend or your fiance is a model. You're a huge sensation over here. So it's just like, or all over the world. I can't imagine that. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to The Dream Life. On today's episode, I have one of my great friends, Liane V. She is an actress, a singer. You probably may have seen her on Vine, YouTube. She's also the aunt of Penny. Yes. She's many things, but she also left everything behind at home to make her dreams come true. She went through crazy obstacles, found love, and has made it to a place in life that we're actually here. Like, how did you do it, girl? So let's start off there. Let's start off with your beginnings. So what was it like?
Hold on. We're really starting all the way over.
Well, I was like...
Hold on, everything?
No, not everything. I was like,
We can't pick up where we left off? That was so good.
Hold on, let me see. I want to see what I have. I was like, because I feel like these batteries died. Hold on, let me look at where my recordings.
That's crazy. That would suck.
I was like, let's start off where we were. I was like, but I was like, how do I look at what I already did?
Yeah, how?
Wait, this is the old one. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, what is this? I think we're good. Because look, wait. Look, I think we're good. Because, hold on. See, because this looks like it's 27. Is that I don't even know how to fucking check.
It only records here. It doesn't record on there either?
It does.
Okay.
It does record there. I was like, okay. So what we'll do is...
Because either way, it's such a good and close
room. What time it died?
Good.
I was like, I just don't know what time it died. I was like, okay. So what was the question that I was on? I was on, we're talking about love.
And relationships, finding love, never settling for less.
So for those of you listening and watching, so I'm gonna do it again. I was like, I hate myself.
It's okay, I hate myself too sometimes.
Okay. So for those listening and watching that think that you actually have to sacrifice relationship or being single, because I know I've definitely said it. I know other people have said it. That I just want to focus on myself and I want to work on my career. Is that true?
I think it's true. Only to a certain extent. I feel like whenever a person is ready, and for like depending on the circumstances, like when I first moved to LA, I was single, and I said, okay, if I'm going to jump into a relationship, it has to be for me and for my purpose. And if it's not, and if it's taking me away from what I want to do in life, then you're not the one. And you have to be okay to let that go. Because number one priority was like, I wanted to move to LA and I wanted to pursue my dreams. And one day be able to, take care of myself and my family. So it has to line up and connect to my purpose. And I think that you have to make sure that if you do meet somebody again, like they're not distracting you. Of course, nothing is perfect. I think
Right.
it's healthy to open up and meet people and make friends
How
and
have
date.
you and Don worked through some of your issues? Like, what are some of the best, maybe things you could say? I would obviously for me, I would always say communication, but you're the one that's engaged, so we'll listen to you.
Communication is completely number one. I feel that no one's a mind reader, and a lot of times people will bottle things in or not share how they feel, or it's misunderstandings that cause the arguments.
Right.
And say even if you agree to disagree, at least you voiced out how you feel, and maybe Don doesn't agree with how I feel and I don't agree how he feels, but we come to some kind of agreement where, okay, you don't like this, I'll be understanding about that, and
Right.
maybe, you know, I apologize for saying that. Like, it has to have some kind of compromise
And even
to each other.
with jealousy and things like that, because you guys are both very attractive, you guys are beautiful. So it's like, how did you guys deal with those kind of things? You guys are just very confident.
You know, everyone's different. I feel that everyone has their own insecurities. And I think with me and Don, again, we were friends before. So I knew Don when he was single, and he knew
Right.
me when I was single. Or we knew each other when we were with other significant others. So
Right.
I feel like that helped a lot. But I think that insecurity is something that you have to take within yourself. Like,
Right.
it's
The
something that
self-issue.
you struggle with, because everyone has their own insecurities. It's how you handle it. And just know that if say for example, if Don is going to do something and I'm tripping on him all the time, it's taking too much away from who I am and my peace, and that's not healthy. So you
Right.
have to build a new habit of just like, you know, even if you write it down and read it every day, it's really just, you know, something that you have to keep telling yourself, like, okay, say if there's going to be other girls around or whatever it may be, Don knows, like, babe, make sure you're respectful. You have to express
Right.
to him, like, if you are talking to someone, introduce me, you know, if I'm standing right there, or just the common things that people need to know.
Things too, because you guys are sweet towards each other, and you guys are understanding and kind, and you know you're still not allowing certain things, and you also still demand certain things, but it's in a nice way that, and with good communication,
Right.
that it doesn't become something that's a fight. It's more just clarifying.
And it takes time for someone to get to know
good communication.
You.
Yeah.
Like, so once they understand and know you, they're gonna know, okay, she doesn't like this, or Liane doesn't like that, or he doesn't like this. So, you know, you have to kind of grow and learn through that.
Okay.
That journey.
And now, so what do you think in your formula to success? So I know that you were a little star growing up. You know, you studied your craft. You've continued to study your craft. You have a supporting family. You have a great partner, significant other that supports you. So you have a great foundation and support system. And I know you personally, so I know that you have a lot of great friends around you that are also your support system, which I think that it's something you actively created. I think that you actively, when you have your friends, but you've hand selected the friends that you have around you. They're people that bring you peace, that bring you happiness. And I think that that's a big part of not just your formula of success. It's a lot of entrepreneurs and very successful people. They surround themselves with people like leaders, with other leaders, really make, you know, great things happen, opposed to a bunch of minions and one leader, you know, then they don't know what to do without you. But what's one thing that what's an important component in your formula for success? Like, what do you think is
What I think is very important is making sure that your mind is right, because the first issue always starts in your mind, whether it be an insecurity, whether it be an issue that you have with somebody, or or a business issue, or anything. Honestly, it all starts in your mind, and you have to make sure that your mind is right. You have to elevate your thoughts,
it right,
because there's so many things that happen in life, and if your mind isn't right and you're not in a good mental state, I think that can be an issue. And I think that what helped me, what helped me was prayer. What helped me was self-help books that helped me understand, you know, what relationships are about, what friendships are about, educating myself in that, and pretty much like brainwashing myself to knowing what it is, and not how I feel, because feelings change all the time. So I think what I think is so important for success is knowing again who you are, and being consistent with, you know, the truth, which is the reality of things, of what you want to manifest. And I think that it takes practice. It's a habit that you have to build. Again, like I used to write, and I still do, like I'll write notes in my notes, or I'll have in my notes on my phone, or I'll write post-its, stuff on post-its and put it on my window or wall or anything, just to always let myself know, like, walk by faith.
Amen.
You are worth it. You're a queen. Never settle. Things like that you have to consistently,
And
remind
it's true, and I
yourself.
see you do it. Even myself, I know that you'll mention to me in your book that you're reading, or you always kind of, even to your own followers, you always give them kind of words of encouragement. And I know that sometimes it can be based off of what inspires you that day. There was a word for you that you decide to share with people, because if it's something that spoke to you, no matter where you are at, that it also can be a blessing for others. And I feel like I do the same thing too. Sometimes my own struggles or my own things are the things that it leads you to talk about them, because that's where you're at.
Yeah.
I love that. Let me see. What got you into Vine? Like, how did you get into Vine?
So pretty much,
Was that your first like social media?
I was always on like YouTube and doing cheesy cover songs, but I feel like what started my social media like career was Vine, and I had a friend, Daystorm Power. He is a YouTuber, and one of the biggest YouTubers that's been around for a very long time. And I was hopping into his videos, and I had a lot of ideas with myself, like, I want to try this, I want to try that. Why I should just open up my own like YouTube channel that specifically does this. And he told me about Vine, and he's like, you better hop on this Vine because it's gonna blow up. Like, really? 6-second videos? I don't even think I'm funny, but I'm gonna do it.
So what were you doing for work at this
So
time?
I was doing I was selling cars Monday through Friday. Then I was a backup singer on the weekends for this artist named Dev. So I would travel in and out of town.
Hustle.
And then Vine in between. So
yeah. So you were filming Vines and already becoming like Vine famous, Instagram famous, while you were working, selling cars and singing backup on the weekends.
Yes.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's what people need to hear, because they just see like, oh man, this girl has some good funny vines, but no, it's been a long road. So I've seen some of your older videos, which I freaking love, and it's funny, I'll see you with your jet black hair and all this stuff, and now I've seen you with so many different looks, and
I change my hairstyle all the time still.
And you've grown so much, not just in numbers, but I think as an artist, at your identity, that people can relate to. People really, I feel like people have a good understanding of you, which is one of the hardest parts of social media. So I guess, what are some of the tips that you would give to people that are trying to get on social media, or trying to put themselves out there, but they're kind of hesitant to pick the right content? Or what do you think is important to actually even build a following?
Well, for anyone out there that wants to be in the influencer space,
right,
I think that you have to study what is trending. You have to see like what's popular and what people are looking for, and you want to be relatable. And it's funny because sometimes like the most production, sometimes isn't like relatable. It's weird how I'll post a photo shoot picture and it won't get as much likes or views as to a picture that I took as a selfie in the car.
That's so annoying.
And I know it is what it is, because people want to be able to relate to you. They want to feel like they can be like you. And again, what's trending, what videos or songs that people like to listen to and watch. And so I think following the trends and opening up and being yourself and being goofy. Like, I remember when Vine started, there wasn't a lot of like girls that does like comedy. Like, well, you know what I mean, on social media. So I'm thinking it's okay to be goofy. Even if you're a pretty girl, it's okay to be silly.
But it's always a stigma for women, because we want to be perfect. We want you
have to break out of that box. You have to step outside of the box. And again, being uncomfortable is a level of growth. Like, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to do something that someone else hasn't done or doing. So I think, again, the advice I would give, again, is consistency.
I hear is research. What I hear is research, doing your homework, doing your research, and then, being confident enough to step out and just taking a shot. What do you have to lose? And at the same time, whether you're male or female, just taking a shot. We live in an amazing country. You can be almost anything you want to be. You can be a female comedian. You can be an actress and a singer all at the same time.
You can do whatever you want, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. You can manifest anything you want. So
I love that.
That's in your mind.
And I think that that's so true to you, because it sounds like you've been manifesting since you were a child. You know that you saw
Like,
yourself.
I want that toy. I'm gonna get that toy.
But you know what? This girl still does this. I swear. Sometimes I'll hear you talking. You're like, "Oh, I want this person at my wedding. Oh, I want this person." And we're talking like names,
we're making things happen.
big names, big things, big numbers.
You have to believe it, because if you don't, who's gonna believe it for you? And again, remember, everything was an idea. Like everything. This the lights. Like this.
Guys, you see where we are?
Idea.
We're in a room.
We're in the closet.
She racked all the walls, so we're in a giant closet of her clothes. These are just her sweaters, people. These are, well.
It's crazy, but I mean, I manifested. This is what I wanted. So you have to really believe it, want it, act like you have it, and it's gonna be yours.
Amen. I was like, so I'll finish up with this last question. Okay. I guess. So in creating the dream life, what do you think is something that you would tell to these young people? Because I know that you've created your dream life. You wanted to be a singer, you wanted to be an actress, you made it happen for yourself. And I guess your next dreams, you don't even know, because I feel like we continuously continue to grow. But for all the dreamers listening, what do you think is the one piece of advice that you would tell them?
The one piece of advice that I feel that helped me, like again, I moved to LA to focus on music, but then you never know what opportunities, what God has for you, what the future holds, because I never even knew that social media was going to be something that I would be doing.
Right.
And that wasn't even taught in high school back in the day. It wasn't even a thing. And now it's a thing where it's a full-time job, and it's a real job. People are getting money to post, and it's good money. It's not like just whatever. People are getting really good income from this. And again, you have to be open to opportunities. You can't say, well, this isn't what success looks like to me. This isn't the idea that I thought I had to do. Like, I moved out here, I started taking acting classes, vocal coaching, dance classes, and I said, whatever door opens and whatever God has for me first, be open to it, because you never know where that can lead you. Like Vine, I honestly did not like Vine. I thought it was stupid. I'm like, what am I going to do for 6 seconds? I guess I'll do comedy. You know, it wasn't my passion, but then I discovered new passions. I actually love shooting. I love directing. I love editing. I taught myself, you know, my friends to how to edit videos, how to do sound effects, how to do photo shoots and edit my own pictures. And I did a lot of this by myself because I couldn't afford to hire photographers and videographers at the time. And now, like, you just have to be open. And I just discovered, wow, I have other passions that I never even knew that existed inside me. Well, you know
what they say? They say that perfection is the enemy of happiness. And in reality, you know, we expect something to come dressed like this thought that we've had in our minds. Like so many of us, we have maybe the perfect husband or the perfect wife or the perfect career in mind. But that perfection, what you're expecting, can actually be limited. You have so many other things to be grateful for, and you have so many things around you that are amazing. And at the same time, you can miss your blessing because you're so focused on something, and it could be greater. It could be so much better. But taking what you have and making the best of it, and having your eyes open, your heart open, and willing to put the work in as well. And basically, I feel like you just show up. You always show up. And that's what I love about you. But thank you so much for coming, and for allowing me into your closet to do this interview with you. And you have so much value, and honestly, you inspire me so much as a friend, and you know that I love you. And just seeing you, the way that you hustle, and the way that you hustle with such a beautiful soul, that's what's really rare. And never change, girl.
Look, you too, her too. I love you so much. I feel like I surround myself with people that share the same energy, and Valeria is the same exact way.
Thank you.
I love you.
You gotta say that. It's my show. Okay, I love you guys.
All right.
Next time.
Mwah.
Bye. Yay.
That was good.
I was like, this thing turned off again. I was like, I'm gonna fire
At least we have that.
Yeah.
Thank God. That's why these things always frustrate me. That's why there has to be someone.